You've been told to care more, try harder, be everything for everyone. But what if the real breakthrough comes when you stop? Stop chasing approval. Stop fearing judgment. The moment you let go of all of it is the moment you start living. This video is your permission to finally breathe. Chapter 1. The Tyranny of Caring Too Much. You wake up already behind. Before your feet touch the floor, your mind is racing. Did you reply to that message? Did you say the wrong thing yesterday? Are you falling behind? You scroll through your feed, comparing your life to curated snapshots of strangers. You rehearse conversations before they happen. You replay them after they end. You care so much it hurts. Caring too much is praised. It's called empathy, dedication, passion. But what they don't tell you is that it can become a prison, a quiet one, decorated with compliments and expectations. You're the reliable one, the thoughtful one, the one who always shows up. But inside, you're exhausted. You care about what they think, about how you look, about whether your words land right. You care about being misunderstood, about disappointing someone, about not being enough. And the more you care, the more you bend. You shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for you. There's a moment, maybe you felt it, when the caring turns into fear. Not love, not connection, fear of being judged, fear of being rejected, fear of being invisible. And that fear starts to shape your choices. You say yes when you mean no. You smile when you want to scream. You stay silent when your truth is burning inside you. This isn't kindness, it's survival. You start to wear a mask. Not a physical one, but a persona. The version of you that's acceptable, polished, predictable. You perform, you please, you adapt, and slowly you forget what your real face looks like. But here's the twist. The more you care about being liked, the less you feel loved. Because the version they love isn't you, it's the mask. And every compliment, every approval feels hollow. Because deep down, you know they don't see you. Not really. That's the tyranny of caring too much. It's not noble. It's not brave. It's draining. And it's everywhere. You care about your work, your relationships, your image, your future. You care about being good, being right, being perfect. And in that storm of caring, you lose your center. You start to measure your worth by reactions, by applause, by silence. You start to chase validation like oxygen, and every time you don't get it, you suffocate a little more. You become hyper-aware of tone, of timing, of how your presence lands in a room. You scan for signs. Did they smile? Did they pull away? Did they mean that compliment? You become a detective of approval, and it's exhausting. You care about being chosen, about being remembered, about being enough. And in that caring, you abandon yourself. You trade your truth for comfort, your boundaries for belonging, your voice for peace, but it's not real peace. It's performance peace, the kind that looks calm on the outside but screams on the inside. You start to feel like a ghost in your own life, present but not alive, visible but not seen, loved but not known. And the worst part? You think it's your fault? You think you're too sensitive, too needy, too dramatic. You think if you just cared a little less, you'd be free. But you don't know how, because caring is all you've ever known. You were taught to care, to be nice, to be polite, to be agreeable. You were taught that your worth is tied to how well you serve others, how well you fit in, how well you disappear. But you're not here to disappear. You're here to burn, to speak, to disrupt, to be seen. And that starts with one radical act: letting go. Letting go of the need to be liked, to be perfect, to be safe. Letting go of the mask, the performance, the fear. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you start loving yourself more. It means you stop chasing people who don't see you. Stop explaining yourself to those who won't listen. Stop apologizing for existing. It means you choose truth over comfort, voice over silence, fire over approval. And yes, it's scary. Letting go feels like jumping off a cliff. But what if you fly? What if the moment you stop caring, everything changes? What if your energy returns? Your creativity flows? Your relationships shift? What if you finally feel free? You don't need to be perfect. You need to be real. You don't need to be liked. You need to be alive. You don't need to be everything. You need to be yourself. And if you've felt this, if you've lived this, then you already know. Something has to change. This is the moment. The crack in the mask. The breath before the fire. Subscribe to Cognitive Flame now. Not just to follow the video, but to follow the fire inside you. The one that's ready to burn through the mask and light up your truth. Chapter 2. The Liberation of Letting Go. There's a moment when the weight becomes unbearable. You've bent so far you're not sure how to stand straight anymore. You've smiled through exhaustion, nodded through discomfort, and stayed silent through storms. You've carried yourself into invisibility, and then something snaps. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. A breath, a pause, a single thought. I don't care anymore. At first it feels wrong, like you're breaking a sacred rule. You were taught to care, to be nice, to be good, to be selfless. But now something inside you refuses. You're done explaining, done apologizing, done performing. This is the beginning of liberation. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you stop leaking. You stop pouring your energy into places that never fill you back. You stop chasing people who only love the version of you that serves them. You stop caring about being liked and start caring about being whole. It's not apathy, it's clarity. You begin to see the difference between what matters and what doesn't. You stop reacting to every opinion, every glance, every silence. You stop trying to fix what was never yours to fix. You stop trying to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. And suddenly, you feel lighter. You walk into a room and no longer scan for approval. You speak and don't rehearse. You rest without guilt. You say no without explanation. You say yes without fear. You stop asking, will they like me? And start asking, why do I like this? This shift is powerful and terrifying. Because when you stop caring, things change. Some people pull away. They liked the version of you that bent. That agreed. That stayed small. They don't know what to do with your boundaries. Your silence, your fire. They call you distant, cold, selfish, but they're wrong. You're not selfish. You're sovereign. You're not cold. You're clear. You're not distant. You're free. Letting go is not a rejection of others. It's a return to yourself. It's a decision to stop bleeding for people who never asked you to live. It's a choice to stop performing and start being. And yes, it's messy. You'll feel guilt. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if you're being too harsh, too detached, too different. But that's just the echo of your old self. The one who lived for applause. The one who feared silence. The one who thought love had to be earned. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to earn your own life. Letting go is the moment you stop negotiating with your soul. You stop trading your truth for comfort. You stop editing yourself to fit into rooms that shrink you. You stop explaining your fire to people who fear the heat, and something beautiful happens. You start to create, not for approval, not for applause, but for joy, for truth, for breath. You start to speak from your gut, not your script. You start to move from instinct, not obligation. You start to live from presence, not performance. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to be, but because you're real. People feel it. The ones who are ready will be drawn to you. The ones who aren't will fall away, and you'll let them. Not with bitterness, with peace, because you're no longer chasing. You're attracting. You're no longer begging. You're choosing. Letting go is not a one-time act. It's a practice, a muscle, a rhythm. You'll forget. You'll slip. You'll care too much again. But now you'll notice. You'll catch yourself. You'll return. And each time you do, you'll feel stronger. You'll stop overthinking that text. You'll stop replaying that conversation. You'll stop wondering what they meant. You'll stop needing to be right. You'll stop needing to be liked. You'll stop needing to be anything other than yourself, and that's the liberation. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be free. You're not here to be palatable. You're here to be powerful. You're not here to be chosen. You're here to choose. Letting go is the moment you reclaim your energy, your time, your voice. It's the moment you stop waiting for permission and start living on purpose. You'll feel the shift in your body, in your breath, in your relationships. You'll feel the space open up, the noise quiet down, the clarity rise, and you'll wonder why you ever cared so much. But don't judge yourself. You cared because you were taught to. You cared because you wanted to belong. You cared because you thought it made you good. And now you know better. Now you know that caring too much can cost you everything, and letting go can give it all back. This is the fire, the rebellion, the truth, and it's only the beginning. The alchemy of change. Something subtle yet powerful begins to shift the moment you stop caring, not in a cold or detached way, but in a way that feels like reclaiming your breath after years of holding it in. It's not just your thoughts that change, but your entire energetic field, your posture, your voice, your choices. You begin to move through the world with a kind of quiet certainty, no longer asking for permission to exist, no longer bending to fit into spaces that were never designed to hold your truth. This is the alchemy, the transformation that doesn't scream, but hums beneath the surface, reshaping everything from the inside out. It begins when you detach from the need to be liked, understood, or validated, and instead start listening to the deeper pulse of your own being. You stop clinging to roles that were assigned to you, identities that were expected of you, and stories that were never yours to begin with. You stop performing and you start being, and the world, almost as if it's been waiting for you to wake up, begins to respond differently. You become a mirror, clear, unfiltered, and unapologetic. People see themselves more vividly around you. Some are drawn in, magnetized by your authenticity and the calm fire in your presence. Others are repelled, unsettled by the fact that you no longer play the game, no longer shrink, no longer pretend, but you no longer twist yourself to accommodate their reactions, because you finally realize that your worth was never meant to be negotiated. You stand in your truth. You breathe without apology. You burn with purpose. And in that burning, something beautiful is forged. You begin to create, not from fear of rejection or hunger for applause, but from a place of raw truth and deep joy. Your ideas become bolder, your voice sharper, your art more alive. You stop editing your soul to be digestible for others. You stop softening your edges to make others comfortable. You stop dimming your light in hopes of being accepted by people who were never meant to walk beside you. You start living from the inside out, and everything you touch begins to carry the signature of your freedom. This is the paradox. When you stop caring in the old way, when you release the grip of external validation, you actually connect more deeply. Not with everyone, but with the right ones. The ones who see you without needing you to shrink. The ones who aren't afraid of your fire. The ones who don't need you to be anything other than exactly what you are. You no longer chase success like a moving target. Instead, you define it on your own terms. You no longer chase peace like a distant dream. Instead, you become the embodiment of it. And the world begins to shift around you, not because it changed, but because you did. Opportunities begin to appear, not because you begged for them or contorted yourself to be worthy, but because you are aligned with your truth. Conversations deepen, not because you tried harder to be interesting, but because you are present and real. Relationships evolve, not because you forced them to, but because you are no longer afraid to let go of what no longer fits. You begin to trust the silence, the space, the unknown. You stop filling every gap with noise, every pause with explanation, every moment of uncertainty with frantic effort. You stop explaining every choice to people who were never meant to understand you. You stop defending your existence as if it were on trial. You start living with intention, with clarity, with breath. You begin to feel the difference between movement and momentum, between urgency and flow, between reaction and response. This is the alchemy. You turn fear into fuel that propels you forward instead of holding you back. You turn doubt into direction, letting it point you toward the places that still need healing. You turn pain into power, not by denying it, but by allowing it to shape you into something stronger, wiser, and more whole. You stop asking, "What if they don't like me?" and start asking, "What if I betray myself by trying to be liked?" You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I never try because I'm too afraid of failing?" You stop asking, "What if I'm too much?" and start asking, "What if I've been shrinking for too long just to make others comfortable?" And you begin to move differently. You walk into rooms without shrinking your presence to fit the mood. You speak without rehearsing every word in your head. You rest without guilt, knowing that your worth is not tied to your productivity. You create without apology, knowing that your expression is sacred. You love without losing yourself, because you finally learned that real love doesn't require your disappearance. You begin to feel the rhythm of your own life, and it no longer sounds like someone else's song. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to be, but because you're free. People feel it. The ones who are ready will rise with you. The ones who aren't will fall away, and you'll let them go, not with bitterness or resentment, but with grace and peace, because you're no longer clinging to what hurts. You're flowing toward what heals. You're no longer performing for approval. You're expressing from truth. You're no longer surviving the day. You're living the moment. You stop being a character in someone else's story. You become the author of your own. You stop waiting for the plot to change. You start writing the next chapter. You stop hoping someone will rescue you. You start rescuing yourself. You stop asking for the world to see you. You start seeing yourself. And it's not perfect. You'll still feel fear. You'll still care sometimes. You'll still slip into old patterns. But now you'll notice. You'll pause. You'll return. Because you've tasted freedom. And once you taste it, you can't forget it. You'll start to recognize the signs. The tightness in your chest when you betray your truth. The exhaustion after a conversation where you weren't real. The ache of being surrounded by people who don't see you. And you'll choose differently. You'll choose silence over noise, because silence is where your truth speaks loudest. You'll choose solitude over performance, because solitude is where your soul breathes. You'll choose truth over comfort, because comfort without truth is just a prettier kind of prison. You'll choose yourself, not as a last resort, but as a sacred beginning, and that choice will ripple. It will change how you speak, how you love, how you create, how you lead, how you rest, how you rise. This is the alchemy, not a sudden explosion. A slow burn, a steady shift, a quiet revolution. You stop caring and everything changes, not because the world changed, but because you did. You stopped waiting for someone to give you permission. You stopped begging for scraps of recognition. You stopped hiding behind the mask of who you thought you had to be. You started living as who you truly are, and now you're here, breathing with intention, burning with purpose, becoming without apology. This is your moment. This is your fire. This is your truth. Let it rise like a storm on the horizon. Let it roar like a voice that's been silent too long. Let it reshape everything you thought you had to be. Because the moment you stop caring is the moment you finally start living.